What is up, everybody, and welcome to my new channel. For those of you who don't know, I am actually already a career YouTuber with a fairly decent sized channel that has nothing to do with music. I have an audience of about 400,000 on a channel where I read tarot cards. But the majority of the people on YouTube have no idea that I'm actually a musician. And the guitar I want to talk about today is this 2002 Les Paul Studio. Now, there's an interesting backstory behind it. I gave the big long version of that on my regular YouTube channel. But just for the sake of this video today, I'm gonna just kind of go ahead and tell the short version. I've been playing guitar since I was 9 years old and made that my whole life. All up into the point to where I was in my early 20s when I was in a band, a group of very, very talented guys. And my dumb ass screwed it up. And I know that may not sound like much, but especially when it comes to the city that I'm from, you may not understand how hard it is to get a whole group of really talented musicians together. It's like so hard. You know, sometimes, yeah, there'll be one or two people who are really musically talented and the rest of them suck. Or every now and then it's just you're the only one talented and all these other guys suck and they have no idea what they're doing. And I got into a group where we were all very, very talented. And we could have gone places if we really pushed it. I screwed it up. I was young, dumb, addicted to alcohol, chasing girls, drugs, and screwed it all up. So I got so mad at myself that I put the guitar down. And that's when I want to say 22. I'm 36 now. Over the years, I've picked up a little handful of guitars since I was 22 in a desperate attempt to reignite my love and my passion for music, and it just never happened. Playing the guitar is one of those things to me, it's like riding a bike. You don't lose it. It's just, I don't know, maybe if it's because of how young I was when I started, or, I do have a very musical family. Everybody, at least on my mom's side of the family, is extremely musical. But it's one of those things to me that I could go 5 years without touching a guitar and then pick one up and it's like I was just playing it yesterday, But I've never been able to successfully really reignite my passion and love for music and guitar until a couple of weeks ago when my wife surprised me with this 2002 Gibson Les Paul Studio, because it's always been like a little secret desire of mine to own a Les Paul and never really thought that I could. And like I told the story on my other YouTube channel the other day that when I got to play a Les Paul for the first time, I was 16 years old. When I threw this thing over my shoulders and tried to play it, it was the most ungodly, awkward, weird, uncomfortable guitar I'd ever played in my life. I was a Stratocaster player, very devoted Stratocaster player. And it broke my heart the first time I touched a Les Paul. So I just tried to bury that little dream of owning a Les Paul and forget about it, but I couldn't. That burned inside of me my whole life. And I'd mentioned to my wife a couple of times that probably the only way that I would ever really be able to successfully reignite my passion again is if I got to buy my dream guitar, which would be a solid white Gibson Les Paul. And randomly out of the blue, she just said, "Hey, let's go in this pawn shop and look around." Just randomly. We weren't even planning on going to a pawn shop. We saw this thing hanging up in there and she said, "Let's get it." And I was like, "Whoa, really? You want to pay $1,000 for a used guitar?" She said, "If that would reignite your love and passion for music, let's get it." So boom, long story short, here we are. And yup, this has successfully reignited and reawakened my love and passion for guitar and music. There's not going to be any guitar playing in this particular video though. This is mainly just going to kind of be an aesthetic video about the aesthetics of this guitar. Now, I wish I had it on me here, but as you can see, if any of you actually know about Gibson Les Pauls, I've removed the pick guard and filled in the little hole here and touched it up with white acrylic paint. It's really noticeable if you look at it up close, but from a distance, you can't really tell. Now, I'm not the one that put the EMGs on this. I guess whoever owned it before me was probably a fan of Zakk Wylde or something like that, you know. But I did grab a couple of extra pick guards that just look amazing, but I'm just not a fan of pick guards on Les Pauls. I'll show you the two pick guards that I have. And I'm still keeping them laying around just in case I change my mind and decide to want to throw a pick guard back on it one day. I have this white pearl pick guard here, which again, this is the Alpine white with the gold hardware. I mean, aesthetically that looks pretty cool, I think. I mean, I could kind of rock it like that, man. That white pearl is beautiful. But I also grabbed a black pearl. This is the one that I had on it for a little bit. And I rocked it like this for, about a week or so before I just completely changed my mind, because as cool as that looks, and it does, like I said, especially with the gold there, matching the gold bridge, I'm just not a fan of pick guards on Les Pauls. As cool as that looks, I think it looks way more awesome with no pick guard at all. Also, I have swapped out the truss rod cover because the old one cracked. I went to adjust the truss rod, and when I put the cover back on it, it cracked. And I know there's some weird sticklers in the Les Paul community that have funny opinions about the truss rod cover. I went with the blank one. I just don't think any Les Paul looks good with that writing on the truss rod cover. I don't care what it says. Obviously, I have the Gibson Les Paul Studio, so my truss rod cover says Studio on it. I think that kind of takes away from the Les Paul, having that writing on the truss rod cover. So even when I buy my standard here soon, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take the truss rod cover that says standard on it, I'm gonna throw it away, and I'm gonna put a blank one on there. But here's the main thing that I wanna make the video about today: the tone knobs. This is the main thing I wanna talk about here in today's video. This obviously came with the speed knobs here. And I'm sorry, but I just think the speed knobs look ridiculous. I don't like them. I don't like the look of the speed knobs. I mean, it works for what it is, but that just does not scream Les Paul at all. Maybe it's because I'm a bigger fan of the vintage Gibson look. The very first guitar that was ever given to me, my grandfather gave me a old Gibson SG. And it was a very interesting looking SG. I've never seen another one like it. I had one guy tell me that it's so old that it wasn't called the SG yet. It was called the Melody Maker. And I looked up the Gibson Melody Maker, and I don't see anything that looks anything like this. This was an SG. The body and the neck and the headstock and everything was every bit of SG. But the pick guard was a little bit different. And it had the old Gibson tuners that were all one piece down each side, and it had the white, tuner knobs. But anyway, so, I had on that guitar these tone knobs. So that's what I switched it to originally. And that's what I've been rocking for the past couple of weeks, were these ones. Hang on. throw them on there real quick. These ones here. And yeah, that looks pretty cool. It looks a lot more vintage. But one of the things that is my absolute favorite about this guitar is the fact that it has the gold hardware. And it makes me extra super annoyed that whoever owned this before me put EMG pickups on it, because the Alpine White Les Paul Studio that comes with the gold hardware also came with gold humbuckers on it. And that is so beautiful. So I kind of want to keep as much of the gold look going on this as possible. So I went ahead and grabbed the gold tone knobs. I'm gonna show you how this looks. Pop them on here real quick. I love the fact that we live in a day and age where, you know, you can just hop on the internet and grab little supplies for your guitar and order them, and bam, it shows up to your door the next day, you know? Because, you know, back in my day, you know, in the late 90s, early 2000s, if you wanted something for your guitar, you had to go to a guitar store and see if they even had it, and if they could even order it, and how long that would take, you know. And now it's just like, oh, I found it, click, purchase. So I grabbed up the gold, the old vintage gold tone knobs. And in a very weird, interesting way, I kind of like that better. It's a little bit of a different shade of gold from the gold bridge, but it screams vintage Gibson more than these damn things, I think. I don't know. But here's another thing too. Because like I said, I got the pearl pick guard. I also replaced the back plates with black pearl. And it kind of bugs me. I really wish that I actually liked pick guards on Les Pauls. I wish I liked them, you know, because it kind of annoys me that I have these two amazing pick guards. Honestly, if I had to pick one, I would probably go with the white. That just looks so much sweeter. If I ever do decide to go ahead and throw on a pick guard, it'll probably be that white one. That does look to me just like so much sweeter. Anyway though, yeah, so this has, like I said, successfully reawakened my love and passion for music. Again, not going to be any playing in this video. This is just a little introduction to this channel. I'm not even 100% sure how I feel about the pickups on this thing. Not 100% sure. EMGs, you know, obviously those are battery powered, so to replace them would be pretty much replacing everything on the inside of this. Unless there's an easier way around that I don't know about. But yeah, so anyway, welcome to my new channel. This is going to be focused around music and guitar, which at one point in my life was my whole life. And now, here at the very tail end of 2024, it's now becoming my whole life and my whole world again. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, y'all. Have a good one.